We have the manuscript finished. We've revised. Our first readers cry and gush over our story. They think it's great. We've received the cover from the professional designer, and it's glorious. It captures the reader's imagination and the story and the genre. We're ready to publish. It's a simple matter of clicking a few buttons, right? Not quite. We have business details together. We have to format the manuscript. Then we can publish and plan our promotions. With so many decisions to work through, this episode can help. Welcome to The Right Focus, a podcast for writers, newbies and veterans, and everyone in between. We're hosted by M.A. Lee with the assistance of Remy Black and Edie Rooms, all from Writers Inc. Books. Our focus is productivity, process, craft, and tools. Each episode lasts as long as it takes to fix a quick dinner, drive a short commute, or take a brisk walk. Resources and links are in the show notes. Visit us at therightfocus.blogspot.com. Now, on to this week's episode. This week's episode is the last in the Prep for Publication series. The next episode starts a series on enhancements as we work through my book, Discovering Sentence Craft, special writing skills that we can practice. With a light brush, we then paint them into our next manuscript. The enhancement series divides our practice into concepts and schema, or ideas and structures, or figurative language plus rhetorical devices. Figurative language means similes, metaphor, personification, plus 9 other types. Interpretive means motifs, symbols, allegory, archetypes, allusions. Inversions include anastrophe, which means sounding like Yoda, and chiasmus, my favorite. Repetition means simple and incremental, alliteration, and more. Opposition is dichotomies, like antithesis, oxymoron, paradox, irony, and satire. Sequential means ordering for intensification or anticlimax, oesis, and parallelism like the isocolon. Let's begin our last Prep to Publish episode. We have to prep to publish and then plan and post for promotions. Before we can upload our manuscript to an online book retailer, we have several business details to line up. First, we need a blurb, also known as a book description. 250 to 350 words. WMG Publishing and Dean Wesley Smith offer a course on fiction sales copy. Blurbs are not written at all like stories. Think ad copy that captures the product, the niche, the reason that people need to buy. I'll put a link to the course in the show notes. It is well worth the money. I learned a lot in that course, and I'm still learning. Smith will explain the different types of blurbs, character-driven or plot-driven or genre-driven. I didn't even know there were different types. Where to place the teaser and how to choose, paragraph length, where to place your writing credentials, and how to handle those credentials. Then he'll focus the call to action. Yes, these are all considerations when constructing our blurb. For my first blurbs, I spent a full day writing them. I made the mistake of revealing too much plot. After Smith's course, those first blurbs had to be rewritten. Luckily, with online bookstores and ebooks, changing book descriptions is relatively easy. Not so lucky with paperbacks. Once the cover with a back copy is created, the cover wrap, a designer will charge extra money to change that cover wrap. Once you upload the cover to an online retailer, changes become more difficult. We might upload a change, but if books are printed and in a physical inventory, even just 1 or 2, then an old cover wrap will go out to readers first. Also, the change of the cover wrap in the online bookstore may not show up for a while. When I changed the covers of my first 3 books, the online bookstore took weeks and weeks to update to the new covers. To avoid the problem, we should work with ebooks for several books so we can easily make changes until we become much more experienced. Also, when you're generating your blurb for publishing, we need to use a special online Kindle book description generator with HTML code, allowing us to format the blurb with different heading sizes, italics or bold, stars or bullets, and more. I'll put that link in the show notes as well. If you've never written ad copy, grab any magazine and look at the half-page and full-page ads. or read several book descriptions in your manuscript's genre, especially book descriptions for books that have professional-looking covers. I'm pushing well-designed covers. I'm not really biased against self-designed covers, but when we're first learning, it's difficult to judge well-written blurbs. Our eye can immediately spot a pro cover design or an amateur cover design. So pick the professional-looking cover design and read that blurb, not an amateur cover design. It still takes time to craft a well-written blurb, but now I know what to do. Teaser, the first paragraph which controls the second, whether or not a third paragraph is needed, the suspense builder, or the sentence designed to capture a reader's curiosity. Then the book's placement, if you have a series, like this is book 3 of the series, brief info about the author, and a call to action, written like a movie poster, for a twisty mystery, or a thrilling adventure, or such like. The book description is the most time-consuming detail. By the time I consider the manuscript finished, I've usually generated a really good draft of the book description. I used one of the early days when I was working on the manuscript when I'm not certain what to write next. Then I can firm up the blurb as I finish the last 50 pages or take a break from revision. We have 4 other business details that we need in place before we turn to an online retailer. We have to make an account with our online retailer, be it Amazon or Drafted Digital or somewhere else. That account will need a tax identification number. The tax ID number will come from the country's revenue collector, whoever that is, IRS in the United States. Visit that institution's online website and prowl around until you find where to apply for a tax identification number. On the tax ID form, you will be required to state the name of the writing business. Some people use their own name. I had searched and nothing came up for Writers Inc., so that became my business name. And now it's the name of my publishing business, Writers Inc. Books. Of course, in the last 10 years, a plethora of writers with Inc. sites have come online. Just as someone published with the same pen name as mine, I write historical mysteries with a dash of clean romance. That writer's romances aren't, well, they're not what I call sweet. No one was out there when I picked my pen name, and yet there they are. No one was out there when I picked my biz name. Oh well. Have your tax ID number, your business name, and that's 2 of our 4 details. The third is the ISBN, which stands for International Standard Book Number, 10 digits that make our books unique. Amazon offers a free ISBN. They call it ASIN, Amazon Standard Identifying Number. However, that Amazon ISBN can only be used on the Amazon bookstore. Better to pay for our own ISBN. We can use it anywhere. We need an ISBN for each form of the book. Ebook is one ISBN. Paperback is another. Hardback is a third. Audiobook is a fourth. Large print paperback is a 5th ISBN. We can quickly burn through ISBNs. In the U.S., we purchase from Bowker. See the show notes for the spelling. Finally, 4th, we need to register our copyright of the book. Many writers wait until the book is published for this. I do. It's something we need to do. For the U.S. Copyright Office, actually, the website will say those exact words. Create an account, then start registration of a single work by an author. We will need handy access to an electronic copy of our manuscript. This and its publication date, exact or in the future, as well as its ISBN, are necessary. We pick literary work. If a pen name is involved, we place that on the author claimant page. We work through several pages of a template with ourselves as the person who receives the copyright notice and handles all correspondence. We purchase the copyright registration, then upload the manuscript's electronic file. Some people don't register for copyright at all. I've talked before about the reasons to do so, not the least being all the online hacks who attempt to steal books. Copyright is necessary to make those online thieves cease and desist, which is the legal term. Now that the business details are set, we can move to the next major step, adding front and back matter to our manuscript. Every manuscript needs a page announcing copyright, Many writers also add a rights claim paragraph and a disclaimer. Pick up any traditionally published book in paperback or hardback, and you'll find examples of these two paragraphs on the page behind the main title page. Most writers put a logo of the writing business name at the bottom of the title page. Finishing out the front matter is an acknowledgments or dedication page and a list of novels, titles only, available. Writers variously put the table of contents in the front or the back. With printed books, the table of contents is always in the front. Lastly, before we finish out the front matter, we might put a dramatis personae or character list. The back matter includes any notes to the reader, a thank you and request for review, an expanded book list, and a teaser chapter. Then we finish out the formatting. Chapter headings are easy to distinguish between the normal body text. Insert a page break at the end of each chapter in every major section. For ebook publication, we do not need page numbers. We do need to distinguish our headings from our body text. Heading 1 is the main title. Heading 2 is special page headers for chapters and notes and acknowledgments. Our story is in normal body text. Once we have the headings, we can create that table of contents. Just click to the page that's empty where you want to put it front or back and tell the Word program that you're on to generate a table of contents. Do not spend time on fancy formatting on the ebook unless you upload a PDF. Amazon and Draft to Digital will strip out all your formatting. Draft to Digital does offer a variety of themes to use for your manuscript. Now it's time to discuss the nitty-gritty details of publishing on Amazon KDP and on Draft to Digital. I'll just create a list. Amazon KDP has 3 pages of information with little boxes to fill in, which makes it incredibly easy. The first page is metadata. Title, series, book description. Especially important are the 2 categories we select. We need to arrow our manuscript to the correct genre. Then there's 7 keywords, which are helpful to also pick the correct categories. Amazon has several keyword descriptors. Again, I'll link in the show notes. The second page is content. That's where we upload the manuscript and the cover file. Take the time to launch the previewer. We need not download it, but we should scan for errors and deal with any errors the Amazon bot found. Third page is pricing. Set a price that matches to other books in that format on the online retailer. Draft to Digital is also easy. Some writers stick with Draft to Digital exclusively. We can select a button for Amazon and Draft to Digital will send it there. Draft to Digital also sends to such online retailers as Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Scribd, and the libraries. So follow Draft to Digital's templates. It's 4 pages. And do scan the previewer as well. Make sure your information from Amazon KDP exactly matches the information on Draft to Digital. For paperbacks right now, Amazon KDP and Ingram are the only online retailers. But Draft to Digital is adding that soon. So keep an eye out for it. We are finally to the last step in the whole process. We have an online social media presence, right? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Choose 2. It's easy to manage 2. First decision, do we use our personal account or do we create writing business pages? For example, I have my personal account and I have an MA League page and I have a Writers Inc. book page. Consider your decision between your personal account and the public entity of your writing very carefully. Think long term, not what's easy right now, but what will be necessary in your dream of the writing business 5 to 10 years from now. Facebook is a long form. Twitter is short form. I think it's really good to have a long form that you can attach visuals to. So that puts me in Facebook whether I want to be or not. Then we need to pick short form with Twitter. And we can only do images and we can attach videos, but there's no guarantee anyone will see them. Or Instagram and TikTok, which are video heavy. Once we make that decision, we can set up our promotional post. Some people go all out for what they call launch day. Here's a bit of business savvy. Unless 20 books are in our backlist, then dropping money for a launch day will not benefit. Less than 10 books in a backlist? I wouldn't even buy ads. Facebook has some tricky ins and outs for ads and boosted posts to take more money out of the bank accounts for a very low return on investment, ROI. If you have more than 10 books, well, already you're probably not listening to this episode. But if you don't know what to do, then with the 10 books in a backlist, we have a chance to recoup our ad investment. Whichever, if you decide to buy ads or not, if you're going to do free promo posts or purchase ads that go for a long time on the various outlets. Even Amazon will sell ads to you. Then set up a series of posts for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday for the month of publication. Facebook lets us schedule in advance for free. Twitter costs money. We need the cover image and a teaser and a boiled down book description, as well as links to buy. Brief snippets once a day, picking different times of the day. For example, on each Friday of a month, maybe you do morning, maybe you do noon, maybe you do afternoon, maybe you do evening. That spreads around the post for people in different time zones. Never forget, there are people in different time zones who might be attracted to your promotional post. I schedule what I call an octave or a decade for the week of publication. 10 different longer posts, each highlighting a different aspect of the story. The first chapter, the main protagonist, the secondary protagonist, the main antagonist, that kind of thing. Instagram and TikTok and YouTube need short films. You can talk about the book. You can have excited first readers talk about it. You can create a book trailer. You can do a tour of the main places if they're close. You can film a selfie discussing the collage you created while brainstorming. Try to think outside the box. As the year goes along, write the next book and look for new ways to highlight the books in the backlist. Teacher in your plot? National Teacher Day. Nature-loving protagonist? Arbor Day. New ways to promote should always be at the back of our minds. When next we publish, don't forget to tie in the other books in the backlist. Before we know it, more than weekly coffee money is coming in. Next up, remember, is the Enhancement series. Prepare to meet motifs and other symbols, allegory, allusion, irony, archetypes, and rhetorical devices from Oasis to Zeugma. Inspiration for this week comes from Isabelle, Allende. You write a book, and it's like putting a message in a bottle and throwing it in the ocean. You don't know if it will ever reach any shores. And there, you see, sometimes it falls into the hands of the right person. Thanks for listening to The Right Focus, a podcast for writers at all levels, hosted by Emma Lee from Writers Inc. Books, assisted by Remy Black and Edie Runes. Our focus is productivity, process, craft, and tools. Music is licensed through Audio Jungle, called Background Music Loop. Its creator is Alexander Polishchuk, known on Audio Jungle as Plastic 3. The music comes in different iterations. Show notes and resource links for this and other episodes can be found at therightfocus.blogspot.com. Write to us at winkbooks